In a world where you could erase your most painful memories, would you do it? For Elara and Liam, the answer was a resounding yes. Their divorce had been a slow, agonizing tear, leaving scars too deep to heal. So, they signed up for the Leafy Procedure, a revolutionary technology that promised a clean slate, a chance to forget each other completely. But there was a catch, a final, cruel twist of irony. Before the procedure, they had to spend one last week together in their former home, as complete strangers, a final confirmation that their connection was truly severed. The clinic called it the cooling-off period. They called it a nightmare. The first day was a symphony of awkward silence. Elara walked into the house she once called home and saw a man she was supposed to have loved for a decade. Liam, equally tense, offered her a cup of tea, his movements stiff and unfamiliar. They spoke in polite, clipped sentences, introducing themselves as if they were new colleagues. "I'm Liam. I'm in architecture. Elara, I teach literature." They tiptoed around each other, two ghosts haunting the shell of a shared life. Every object in the house was a landmine. The worn armchair where Liam used to read, the chipped mug that was Elara's favorite, the faint scratch on the floor from that time they tried to build a bookshelf and ended up in a fit of laughter. These were echoes of a life they were desperately trying to forget, yet the house remembered everything. By the third day, the rigid formality began to crack. Liam, without thinking, started humming an old, obscure song they both used to love. Elara looked up, a flicker of recognition in her eyes, and finished the line. They both froze, a current of shared history passing between them. Later that evening, while making dinner, Liam reached for the salt at the exact same time as Elara, their hands brushing. The contact was electric, a jolt of familiarity that startled them both. They found themselves laughing at the same silly things, finishing each other's sentences by accident. It was terrifying. It was also nice. They were rediscovering the people they had been before the hurt, the two young idealists who had fallen in love, not the bitter strangers they had become. On the fifth day, hope began to bloom in the sterile environment of their forced cohabitation. They talked for hours, really talked, for the first time in years. They shared dreams they'd never told each other and fears they had hidden away. It felt like a first date, full of nervous energy and exciting potential. Liam admitted he always admired her passion for poetry, and Elara confessed she loved the way his eyes lit up when he talked about building design. They were falling for each other all over again, and this time, it felt different. It felt easier, purer, without the weight of past mistakes. Maybe they didn't need to erase the memories. Maybe they just needed to make new ones. The thought was both exhilarating and terrifying. Just as they were on the verge of admitting their rekindled feelings, disaster struck. On the sixth day, while cleaning out an old desk drawer, Elara's hand brushed against a loose piece of paper tucked away in the back. It was a note, written in her own elegant script, a message from her past self. Her heart pounded as she unfolded it. The words were a cold, sharp slap in the face. It read, "Don't fall for him again. Remember the promises he broke. Remember the tears. He will only break your heart. Don't do it." The air went still. All the warmth, all the budding hope of the past few days, evaporated, replaced by a chilling fog of doubt and old pain. She looked over at Liam, who was smiling at her from the kitchen, oblivious. But now, all she could see was the ghost of the man who had hurt her, the man her past self was so desperately warning her against. The final day was colder than the first. The laughter was gone, replaced by a heavy, suffocating tension. Elara couldn't look at Liam without the words from the note screaming in her mind. Every kind gesture felt like a manipulation, every smile a mask. She was distant, cold, and Liam, confused and hurt by her sudden shift, retreated back into his own shell. They packed their separate, small bags in silence. The week was over. The confirmation period was complete. The procedure was scheduled for the next morning. They had failed the test. Or had they? The question hung between them, unasked and unanswered. They arrived at the Leafy clinic separately, the chasm between them wider than ever. They were led into a sterile white room, two chairs facing a blank screen. The technician's voice was calm and detached. "We will now begin the procedure. It will be painless. You will simply fall asleep and wake up with a new beginning." Elara and Liam sat side by side, not looking at each other, staring straight ahead at the white wall. The weight of 10 years of love and pain, of laughter and tears, of a shared life and a bitter end pressed down on them. A week ago, this was all they wanted. Now, it felt like an execution. The technician began the final countdown. 5. Was she erasing a mistake or her greatest love? 4. Was he finally finding peace or losing the best part of himself? 3. The note, the laughter, the way his eyes crinkled when he smiled, the scent of her hair. 2. In the sterile silence of the room, their past and future hung suspended in a single, heart-stopping moment. 1. At the exact same instant, as if pulled by an invisible string, they both reached for each other's hands. Their fingers were inches apart when the screen went blank. Was it a last, desperate connection, or just a final, forgotten impulse before everything was wiped away forever? Find out in the next episode. If you're hooked on this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss what happens next. Thanks for watching.